I want to say that this report does not only identify failings, it also makes clear that important recommendations of the department for the department and our entities need to be enacted, like taking appropriate action against the relevant officials who are involved in the PSA oxygen plant project, as far as they have not addressed the issues that were raised by the Department of Health adequately during the procurement process. This will include, but not limited to, the following. Ms. Malaka, as the CEO, for confirming the procurement process followed in the RFQ was correct, whereas there were irregularities identified, and for the appointment of Department of Health officials as members and not observers of bid committees, as prescribed by the Memorandum of Understanding. Ms. Malaka for not ensuring the proper establishment, composition and functioning of these bid specification committees and bid evaluation committees as stipulated in paragraph 8.1 of the National Treasury's PFMA Supply Chain Management Instruction Note number 3, 2021 and 2022, titled Enhancing Compliance, Transparency and Accountability in SCM by appointing officials as members and not as observers to the respective committees as prescribed by the MOA. Ms. Malaka, together with Dr. Sisi, did not handle the issues identified and raised relating to the procurement process followed in a fair, transparent and equitable manner as provided for in the IDT's Supply Chain Management Policy, paragraph 39.1.1 and section 2171 of the Constitution. Dr. Sisi, as the SCM General Manager for his role in the procurement processes followed by the IDT for the RFQ processes and not considering the cancellation of the RFQ as suggested by the Head of Health Facilities from the Department of Health in line with the requirements of the IPIP, paragraph 3.1 and 3.5, or lack thereof. Mr. Motsatsi, in his capacity as the BEC Secretariat, for failing to maintain accurate records of the relevant meetings relevant minutes of meetings and the electronic records of the BEC proceedings in line with the IDT's Code of Ethics and Business Conduct Policy. All BEC members, as prescribed by the National Treasury Supply Chain Management Instruction Note number 3 of 2016-17 on preventing and combating abuse in the supply chain management system, paragraph 10, which stipulated, and I quote, that every member of the bid committee is jointly and severally liable for the improper evaluation and adjudication of this bid. Provide adequate training to members that are involved in the supply chain management process, including the BSc, BEC, and BAC, relating to the procedures that should be followed as part of the evaluation of bids. This will include the evaluation of the bids to ensure that they evaluate the tenders with the appropriate CIDB grading threshold as part of the adjudication process, and implementing procedures to ensure that proper minutes of meetings are kept by the IDT and that the recordings and records of these meetings are available should they be required. This is not an award that took place 5 or 10 years ago. It took place 18 months ago. Those records should have been made available and they should have been kept. The forensic report recommends disciplinary action should be taken against Ms. Malaka and Dr. Sisi, which will be in the purview of the IDT board. The investigation further recommends disciplinary referrals against several other IDT executives and SCM officials. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning I've taken the following actions to ensure consequence management and accountability, and this will include writing to the Hawks and provide them with a report to supplement their current criminal investigation into this matter. Like our handling of the George report, I want to ensure that where criminal allegations exist, I want to ensure the highest chances of success. I've also briefed the Minister of Health this afternoon, who has been incredibly supportive during this time, and I wish to extend my gratitude to him for his collaboration and guidance. And I have formally briefed the newly constituted IDT board this afternoon on the contents of this report at a meeting held earlier in Pretoria. Accountability must follow, and it will follow. South Africans deserve to know how their money is spent and how it is misused. I'm confident that the board will consider the report's recommendations and other related matters in due course. We are not just reacting to a scandal. We're using it as an opportunity to get things right in our entities and our department. Public works and infrastructure has immense potential to be a force for good in South Africa. It can generate income for the state to be used in social infrastructure. It can save the country billions of rands in leased accommodation for departments, and its assets can be used for public good. That's why we must use every opportunity to better our systems and to build towards this goal to which I am so deeply committed to. Let me also speak briefly about the future of the IDT. In July 2025, Cabinet appointed a full-term board to the IDT. I'm grateful that Cabinet has endorsed this board and placed its faith in them to continue with turning around the entity. That board took office on the 5th of July, ending more than a year of instability. The new board includes the appointment of Mrs. Zimbini Hill as the chairperson and Professor Raymond Nkado as the deputy chairperson. I want to thank them both and the other trustees for accepting this responsibility at such a critical juncture. Mrs. Hill, like myself, has had to endure the most horrific, sexist and racist attacks against her, often supported by political parties, for doing a job our country has called on her to do. She has not relented once, but has bravely stood up to these bullies head on. I expect this from each member of the board, and I know that they will rise to the challenge and systematically deal with each matter raised in the report, including implementing every single recommendation of this report, instituting consequence management, restoring governance and compliance frameworks, rebuilding the reputation of the IDT to be a trusted partner in social infrastructure delivery. And they must urgently conclude the separate investigation into the IDT's office lease, which remains unresolved. Let me say this to the public. The IDT can be salvaged. I'm fully committed to doing so, which is why I've put so much effort into getting us to this point. I was not prepared to accept the chaos and dysfunction so that people could steal as they pleased. It has a critical role to play in delivering clinics, schools, and police stations, but only if it is trusted, and only if it is clean, and only if it is led with courage and competence. As I conclude, I want to reaffirm something fundamental. This is not just about a tender. It's not just about one company, and it's not just about the IDT. This is about the kind of state that we are building. And today gives expression to priority 3 of the medium-term development plan, which is to build a capable, ethical, and developmental state. Anyone who